What's going on? So the question that I saw online was, which is better, LTL or hauling tankers? Now, I did both. Uh, I hauled tankers. The two tanks that I've hauled were uh, gasoline, and then I operated a vacuum trailer. But for this video, I'm going to talk about um, I'm gonna focus more so on hauling gasoline versus uh, LTL. Um, the thing that stands out immediately is the schedule. With hauling gasoline, um, oftentimes you're gonna, especially in the very beginning, you're gonna work nights. Some companies have rotating schedules. I worked a company where they had a 5-2-5-3 schedule, where you work 5 days and you off two, and then you work 5 days and then you off three, and it rotates in a way where any day where at some point you're going to work every day of the week, and you're going to have every single day off during the week. It's just going to rotate. So let's say you work Monday through Friday, um, and you off Saturday and Sunday. Then you come back and you work Monday through Friday again. The next week you're gonna have 3 days off. You're gonna be off Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Then you're gonna work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Be off Sunday and Monday. Come back, work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then be off Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. See how it's starting to move? So it's going to continue to work like that. Now, for me, I actually liked it. I didn't think I would if I was going to like it at first, but it helps because having a rotating schedule like that helps because at some point, you're going to want days off or need some days off during the week. It's make it easier for you to plan doctor's appointments or plan different things when you have a rotating schedule like that. Sometimes when you have a Monday through Friday off weekends, that schedule is rigid. And so now you got to call in sick, you got to schedule days off, use up vacation time. So you don't really have to do that with a rotating schedule. Some companies have 6 days on and 3 days off, and that's just what the schedule is. And it rotates as well. So, to me, that's a little harder because think about it. I mean, working 5 days in a row, just a normal shift is tiresome. So can you imagine every time you go to work, you got to work 6 days? So yeah, that's the thing about it. And they have some companies that do a regular schedule, but from what I know, usually it's a some type of rotating schedule with hauling gasoline. The job itself is much easier. You're not working as hard physically as you would with LTL, especially pickup and delivery in particular. In terms of physical um, interaction with the job, I guess, is more comparable to line haul because in line haul, you do get out and, you got to drop and hook trailers. With gasoline, you do got to get out and, you know, uh, connect your hose and disconnect your hose. And, uh, when you're draining your hose, you have to deal with, dealing with the weight of the liquid inside of the hose itself. But that's only for a few seconds. It's not that bad. Um, but gasoline is by far uh, easier. Um, Obviously, the danger factor is more dangerous because of what you're dealing with. But um, the job is a safety sensitive job. So there's more, because of what you're dealing with, more emphasis is focused on safety. So you have to be mindful how you load the trailers and offload. So, uh, but it's a very easy job. It's one of the easiest jobs I've ever had in my life. Um, so in fact, every time I see a truck at the gas station offloading, I just say, man, that's some easy work right there. Um, you know, there's a little bit of math into it, but it's simple. All you're doing is just making sure that uh, what you have on your truck is going to fit, in the tanks that you're offloading to, and knowing and when not to offload the truck, which is all simple stuff that you'll just learn during the natural course of the job. You'll learn it on during training, but it's definitely easier. Um, so that's the biggest, like I said, the biggest difference is the schedule. LTL is simple, depending on what you're doing. You're working Monday through Friday, regardless. You're going to be off. You're going to have your weekends off, every weekend off. If you line haul, depending on how the run is set up, you may work into Saturday, and then or you may work Sunday night, depending on how it goes. But for the most part, Monday through Friday, you get off. Speaking about line haul, you get off. LTL, you get off Saturday morning, and then you don't have to be back to work until Monday night. P&D, you off Monday through. You work Monday through Friday. You off at night. You home every night. You have a full weekend off, and it's pretty much a regular schedule. So, as far as the pay, it just depends on where you go. Some LTL carriers make more. Some fuel hauling companies make more. Some tanker companies make more. So you just have to do your research with it. The most you can make is I think the pay ends up being about the same. Um, so um, in like LTL, most of the companies try to stay non-union. So there are still some union carriers out there, but not as much as it used to be. So you know, if that's important to you, then yeah, you're probably not gonna find too many union companies out there hauling gasoline. But like I said, that I'm in California, and that may change somewhere else. But out here, all of the main oil companies, I think only one still have their own trucks. Everybody else use contractors, and those contractors aren't union. If I think the one company, Arco, I believe Arco is still around. I think they still have their trucks, and I believe they're still union. But whether or not they're any good, I don't know. When I did it, I was working for a contractor that we pulled a load for Arco and 76 and Shell. Um, so, but like I said, we were non-union. Well, the one company we were union, but it wasn't a very good one. I'll say that. But me personally, I'm not anti-union nor am I pro-union. Uh, both have their pros and cons. So for me, I could take it or leave it with when it comes to unions. But let me see what else. As far as the trucks are usually are in better condition. With actually no, I take that back. They're about the same. They all have good, decent equipment. Of course, you're gonna have some drivers that just think everybody's trucks are terrible. But for the most part, most of the companies got good equipment out there now. Let me see what else is important. Benefits. Benefits is probably better with. Well, I take that back. Depending on the company. The benefits for LTL are decent. I know there's a company out here where, like I said, they're not union, but they pay like they're union. They act like they're union, and they actually give their employees free medical. Um, they pay time and a half, which brings me to another thing. Not all of these fuel hauling companies pay overtime. A lot of times it's straight time. The company I was just talking about, they pay their drivers over 30, I think around 35 an hour with overtime. And you're going to work 12 hours a day. They guarantee that. Um, and then you have free medical, trucks are decent. Um, and then there's this companies like that are hard to get in. So when if they call you back, you really have to be on your game uh, during the interview and really sell yourself. Um, so there's that. With LTL, as long as you got a good experience, the experience they want, and your driving record is good, then they'll pretty much pull you in. With the LTL, with the fuel hauling companies, they're a little bit harder to get in. Um, so, but with both, regardless, do your research. Any company you get ready to, any move you get ready to make, do your research on where you're trying to go, so that you got as much information, so that you'll never say, man, why did I make this move, man? Why did I do this? No, you want to do your research on it. So that's my answer for that question. Um, there's different types of tankers, and different companies operate differently. The other company I worked for when I was doing vacuum trucks did things way different than the fuel tankers. So it just really depends when when you want to know about tanking jobs. It just depends on the operation. So as far as driving, operating the equipment, um, you know, you do have to worry about surge and getting pushed. When like if you operate in a truck that doesn't have baffles inside or compartments inside, then you have to worry about a liquid surge and pushing you forward when you stop. So you have to be mindful of that. But if they have baffles in there, if they have compartments, then you don't really have to worry about that too much. That's with the fuel tanks. With the vacuum trucks, the ones that I operated didn't have baffles. So, you did have to, be mindful of the surge at times. Um, so, of course, you got to be more careful on curves with fuel tankers, for obvious reasons. For vacuum trucks, the way the the tanks are in proportion to the tires, um, you know, I don't want to say you don't have to worry about turns, but um, it's not as risky making turns in the vacuum truck because of how everything is set up. So um, that's pretty much it. Like I said, that's my take on it. So let me know what you think. Hopefully, I answer some of your questions on that particular subject. All right.